Let's go to April, Los Angeles, California, and she listens on KKLA. Hi, April. How are you?
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's going on?
So mine is a little bit of a story, too. So my husband and I have been married for 10 years, and we started dating in college. And in college, he told me that he had a pretty bad porn addiction. Now, he expected me to be like, oh my gosh, let me help, let's get you through this. He kind of thought I would see it as any other addiction. And I was kind of naive. It was totally blindsided me. And I actually shamed him really bad, and I regret that. But he kind of retreated emotionally really ever since. And we've had trust issues ever since. We've been in and out of therapy for, ever since. And none of it has really helped. And we're at this place where we're stuck. And we have 2 little kids. We don't want to get a divorce. I've never, in any of our therapy, I've never really had the opportunity to really dig into the hurt that has that's done with me. And we've delved into other things that have helped a little, but the bottom line is we have intimacy issues. We're pretty much unfriendly roommates for the past 3-odd years.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Okay?
Yeah.
If I was talking with him, and I were to say, hey, look, just level with me. What is it that you're getting out of the pornography? In other words, why do you think you're using pornography? What are you wanting? What's behind that? What do you think he would say?
Well, we've had similar conversations before. I think he would say it's an escape from stress.
Okay.
And from,
Yeah. Okay. And a lot of people have found that a loving, nurturing relationship, partnership, you don't even need an escape because you have someone to connect with and process stuff with, and there's no escaping. It's just going deeper with somebody. You think anybody's ever talked to him about that?
I don't know. We've talked a little bit in therapy in the past, but he's never had one-on-one therapy with anyone to really address it. So I don't know if he's talked to anyone like that.
Have you ever said to him, don't you think the least you could do is go to Every Man's Battle and then maybe see a counselor for 6 months and see if you can make some progress here? Because you seem to be wanting some kind of sexual experience. We're living like roommates.
Yeah.
There's music playing. I want to hear from Mylan and Jill what they're thinking about this. It's really it's sad when somebody's doing something secretly and the other person doesn't know. I think it's even sadder when it's known, but there's no desire out of it. It's like, this is the way it's going to be. We're going to be roommates. And boy, he hurts you. You get hurt. You ought to be hurt over it. But he doesn't want to do anything to make it different. I hear a guy like this isn't in counseling. It just boggles my mind that someone wouldn't say, maybe I need a little consultant here on this issue. Or that he wouldn't say, well, the least I could do for my wife is go to Every Man's Battle. We'll be back. We are back. Mylan, Jill, what are you thinking here on she's married to a guy? She knows the problem. They're roommates now.
Yeah. Well, I think, you've been trying something for 10 years, April, and obviously it's not been working. And when people say, gosh, our relationship's terrible, it's not working, we're living like roommates, should we get a divorce? I'm always kind of surprised by that, because it's like, well, you haven't exhausted all possibilities. And so it's not be miserable or divorce. It's let's do whatever it takes. I mean, you guys are not the first couple to have these issues, and people have gotten help. So it takes a lot of energy and effort, but isn't your family worth it? And certainly once you have kids, this is always my pet peeve, you know what? You have kids, and so now you're in a life of sacrifice. It's not all about you and your comfort level. It's about doing whatever you can to not repeat these cycles for your kids and to show them there's a different way. So, and the best thing that kids need is two loving parents that love each other, right? That's a great environment for kids. So I think, it's time to say, you know what? I think we've just been dancing around this. We're not really getting in with people that know how to treat this. There is life beyond addiction. And I think, for so many men, they just resign themselves because it's kind of like, well, this is as good as it gets, right? And they don't know a different way or know a way out of it. And certainly the shame keeps them in isolation about it. So I think, we offer one of the best programs out there, Every Man's Battle. I think Every Man's Battle for him, April, our Restore workshop for you, and then he gets in ongoing support and individual counseling, and then you guys do some marital counseling. How does that sound for a package, Larry?
Give it to her. I like it.
Well, and then intimacy and marriage, right? Then
Yeah.
But we've created these things
Trifecta.
because of couples like this.
April, your husband has to decide, I want to work on this myself. You cannot be the policeman. You can't be the enforcer. He has to decide, I am hurting my wife and children by doing this. Now, a lot of guys think every guy does this, or this is what guys do. And that is not true. There's two kinds of guys in the world. Guys that allow their sexuality to be unbridled and just do whatever it wants to do, and then even feed that. And that's called sexual addiction. Or people that honor what God says about sex and that it needs to be holy, and that 1 Thessalonians 4, we need to learn to possess our vessel, our body, in sanctification and honor, and that God is watching and that he pays attention to this. So I would say that what Jill just said about your husband saying, I want to work on this. And I love what Steve said about being nurturing and loving, and a place to talk to your husband can talk and have nurture and love. But if after the EMB and he said he would go, or the New Life Intimacy and Marriage, you have to ask yourself, what am I going to do about this? If he is not compliant, then I've told many people in the past, you may have to say, I'm creating a legal separation until you choose to do something, because I want to be married to you. I love you. I married you for a reason, and we have 2 kids. But if you have to have a boundary that he feels and that is powerful. And a separation can be what I call a warm boundary that says, you haven't listened to me in the past. This is how serious I am. And so it is a further evidence of the seriousness and the pain that you feel that you would go to that effort. All of the goal, of course, is to have him say, I want to come back and I will do something about this. Interventions for addictions are very important, and for all addictions. And I feel bad for you because he's picking other fantasy women over you, and that's hurtful, and I'm so sorry. But you're going to have to put your foot down at some particular point in time and insist that he start doing the things that Jill said and Steve. So
Yeah.
Thank you for your call. It's hard. I'm so sorry.
Okay, so what I would do, if I were you, I would hang on. I'd be, if I were you, I'd be going to our Restore workshop, and I'd be demanding that he At least go to every man's battle. And then if he's not willing to do that, then you've got some major decision to make here. When a guy says, no, this is it. This is as good as it gets. What a sad thing.
I think a good Christmas present would be worthy of her trust.
Yeah.
Because it's a good thing for both of you to look at, to know what should you expect. What does a trusting relationship look like?
Yeah, I'll send it to her and see if that can be of help, and I'll send it the new edition of Every Man's Battle. Got stuff in there the first one didn't.